Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different one. So one hobby that's been taking over my life for like the past 5 years or so is reading, and of course I have combined that with another hobby of mine, which is being creative and like journaling and stuff. So I decided I would walk you through my process for my year-end journaling or bullet journaling for all of the books that I read for the year. So essentially what I do this for is just to kind of compile all of the stats and just to kind of like make a little snapshot of my year in books. So here I am. I printed out most of the book covers that I read this year. I have some duplicates on there just because I wanted the book covers in multiple different spots, which you'll see later, and I am just cutting those out. I did this on sticker paper because it's a lot easier to place them into my journal compared to like last year when I just printed them on printer paper and glued them in. So I will be doing a flip through of both my 2022 last year and 2023, this one that I'm making right now, in a video next week, so you can stay tuned for that. I just began by doing this like little stats setup on a separate piece of paper. I was looking on Storygraph and Goodreads to compile some of the stats that I wanted to. I also referenced my last year's spreads just because I liked how a lot of them turned out. So the journal that I'm using is this Moleskine journal. It has like a bullet journal inside, and I like how small and compact it is. So I think it will have enough for a total of 3 years of like book stats and stuff. So I do not continue with like bullet journaling throughout the year. I kind of thought that I was going to do that, hence the title of January over here, but I decided that doing it at the year end was a lot better for my very busy schedule, and this way I can just kind of use it as a way to reflect on the year of reading. Alright, so this first spread are my 5-star reads of the year. So I made this little title with a piece of blue scrapbook paper and then wrote on top of there with a white gel pen. This year was kind of a reading fail in my opinion. So a lot of these books were not like true 5 stars and kind of just like 4-5 stars, or books that I now reflect back on and think that I enjoyed. So I'm just sticking those onto there. Last year, 2022, was an awesome reading year, and in comparison, this year I just had so many duds that I was not like fully enjoying, which is really too bad. So after that was done, I'm gonna go onto the other side and do my worst books of 2023. So no hate to these books, but I'd say I'm a pretty critical reader, and unfortunately these are just not my favorite. I actually forgot to print like probably 5, maybe 7 books that should have been on this list, but I just didn't have. So there are more 1-star books, but I just didn't include them here. Most of the time I don't like them because I get really bored and they just don't keep my interest going, but some of them have other reasons as well. So underneath that I have some forgettable books. These are just essentially books that I didn't dislike, but also I could not tell you anything about them anymore because they just didn't have anything super astonishing about them. So on to the next page. This is just going to be dedicated to some reading stats. So on that piece of paper, I kind of wrote all these down, so I kind of had a basis for what I was going to include on this spread. On the top I have a read per month graph, and then I have listen versus read, and I wanted to include how many books that I read right in the middle of the page, which was 101, which is actually lower than last year. And then I broke down my listen versus read into ebook, audiobook, library, borrowed, etc. And the different colors here for the monthly graph are just to kind of show the difference between audiobook and physical books read in every month. And then on the other side, I am just putting down some washi tape and cutting out some scrap paper for another title. These are going to be my rereads of the year, and I'm including the book covers in. Underneath, I'm writing down why I reread them, just so I kind of had a reasoning to look back on. Here are some other random stats that are going on this page. So I have longest book, shortest book, oldest book, most popular on Goodreads, least popular on Goodreads, and I just kind of decorated and filled in the page as much as I could. and included those book covers in there to make it more interesting as well. And on the top of this page, I started with some washi tape, and I wanted to do number of ratings on Goodreads. So this just kind of shows like their popularity, I guess. And I wrote those lists on there. I wrote the number of 2023 releases I read and 2022 releases. Then I have a DNFs or did not finish below with all those books that I didn't even end up finishing, and I kind of wrote a little bit why I did not finish them. On the other side, I have my superlatives. I wrote this out on this separate piece of paper and decided to just glue it in because my writing was nice and I thought it was a nice little texture difference to add in. And then below that, I made a little stat for nonfiction versus fiction books, and I'm just adding in book covers wherever they seem appropriate, just to fill it in and make it as colorful as possible. This next spread is dedicated to my genre breakdown, so I'm writing out this title on some scrapbook paper with some washi tape and stickers on the background. I am making this pie graph, which was a little bit difficult to make, so I just had a tally on my piece of paper of all the different genres that I've been reading. This year was like not a lot of genres. It was mostly like I stuck to thriller and romance, so it was not a super complex pie graph to make just because of that. I colored in all those different sections with some mild liners and also wrote in their percentages below that. Underneath, I am making another title, and I wanted to write down my top authors and then also their average rating of the books that I read. So that's always interesting. My top author was Karen Slaughter, and I read 9 books, and also had a pretty high average rating for that as well. So on the other side, I have my average rating for all the books I read, and then also the different amounts for the different stars. I'm like a pretty critical reader, and my idea of like a true 5-star book is like doesn't come around very often, so I'd say that's probably why my rating is so low. And then below that, I just have some series that I am working through and also some series that I'm quitting in the blue box. So that is how this one turned out. I added in some more books whenever I had those little stickers available, and this is the completed spread. I wanted to make my 2023 cover page last because I wanted to use as many book covers as possible, and I didn't really know what I was going to be using for the other spreads. So after kind of doing a reflection of 2023 and writing some goals for the next year, I am sticking down all of my other little books on here. I thought that I'd be able to put on a lot more book covers, but it ended up like I didn't have much space because I did like the backgrounds that I had drawn there previously. So that is how this one turned out. It's really colorful and fun, and I always like making some reading goals for the year ahead, and I actually did achieve most of my reading goals, which is awesome. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. A full flip through is coming soon. It's like super long and it's a lot more detailed for all of the stats. This is kind of just the process of me making them. So let me know if you guys are into reading and if you are your favorite books to read or favorite book. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.